Well, hello. So I chose the article Teaching Disciplinary Literacy to Adolescents by Shanahan in 2008. I chose this one because it talked briefly about chemistry and mathematician, and my content area is biology. So although it's not specifically chemistry, science in general kind of relates really easily to each other when it comes to vocabulary terms and how those are to be taught in the classroom. So that's why I picked this one. And I wanted to read something that I found in the article that I thought helped me the most, kind of understand how it related to my content area. And there's a section here that just says, chemists were most interested in the transformation of information from one form to another. That is, when reading, they were visualizing writing down formulas or a diagram or a chart if that was on the page, and they were going back and forth between the graph and the chart. One chemist explained, they give you the structure of the sensor is given, so I was looking at the picture as I was reading and tried to relate what was in the picture to what they were saying about how mercury binds to one part of the molecule. So for me, what this meant was, and how I related it is biology or science in general, there is a lot of processes. There's a lot of things that with vocabulary, students are given models or pictures or videos because that's the best way to explain it. And so I think for me, how content literacy relates to my specific area is how we can relate vocabulary to pictures. I mean, you kind of have history where you can show pictures, you have English where you can sometimes show pictures, and that does a good job of representing things, but sometimes they're not able to specifically say how that is a vocab word. But I think with science, it relates a lot easier. Saying here in this model, here's a junction, here's a neuron, here's something, and you can say this is specifically representing this vocabulary word. And so I think that's how we can kind of connect literacy to biology, that specific content area. Another thing that I feel we can do is science is very evolving. There's always research going on. There's always experiments going on. There's always something out there scientific that students can learn about. And so I think engaging students in a broad range of daily science occurrences, not even daily, just more recent things that are going on, and teaching them vocabulary that relates to that as well. So students are able to understand not just the units you're teaching them in class, but also able to understand what is going on in their daily lives. I mean, science affects us all around, how we drive our cars, how we live, how we eat, really. And so I think if we kind of are able to connect science to their daily lives, and teach them, start there when you're teaching a unit, find those vocabulary words that help them understand their daily life. And I think that's going to be a lot easier for them to connect science with, because they can use an example that they know in their life, and that's a lot easier to remember vocabulary words by, because they understand what's going on in their daily lives. And once they're able to connect those words, it's a lot easier when they see that happening. They go, okay, connect it back, make those connections, not only in your classroom, but also in the real world. So I definitely think using real science that's going on, and also using a lot of models and graphs and diagrams to explain once you kind of provide those, the literacy within your classroom.